All right, so the Chargers go out and get Lad McConkey, which is an interesting move. So we're going to get into the film, and what I like about McConkey, he's someone who, quite frankly, his film is as exciting as any other players in this draft class. It's really unique. I think the criticism, which again we'll get into in the film, is he sort of this outside threat? I think maybe they still hope Johnson can be that outside threat, but also a lot of what Jim Harbaugh likes to do is run the ball a lot, kind of run stuff off play actions, which might be a good fit here. So they interestingly trade up with the Patriots. So, of course, the Patriots trade down, even without Belichick. That's still what they're doing. So that's a little interesting because they were picking pretty close, but I do think we could see a lot of receivers going here. And, everyone kind of talked about the depth at the wide receiver position. So I think that's why the Chargers said, let's go out, let's get Joe Alt at pick 5. I think the mindset was we feel like we can still get a really good receiver here in round 2, and once maybe once a few receivers went late in round 1 and here at pick 33 as well, with Coleman going right ahead, they say let's just go up, let's get a guy, let's make sure we make this work. So McConkey goes to the Chargers, which I think is if you follow this channel, you know how much I value the wide receiver position. I still think they need more guys, and I wouldn't be shocked if McConkey isn't the only guy they draft here, because obviously losing Williams and Allen is going to hurt them. It just is. But replacing him with McConkey should be a pretty good move, I think. So yeah, I like the decision itself. Now let's get into just the player himself. Let's get into the film and talk about what I like about McConkey. Let's start off with this play. What's going to happen here, it's going to be a zone coverage play, but really, this will kind of best showcase Lad McConkey's skill set, which is he's just such a shifty route runner. Watch how when this play begins, you see the beginning part of the route and how he really isn't giving away what he's running. Of course, you know what he's running. He's going to go towards the sideline, but watch how well he cuts. That really is the biggest strength of his game and why he's getting drafted when he's getting drafted. Watch him be able to move so well, he is going to be able to make the catch on top of it. And again, that's just what he can do. He's very shifty and cuts very well and is able to find these soft spots in zone because of that. And it makes for a really difficult guy to cover, quite frankly. Now, I don't think he's a perfect prospect. I certainly think that the kind of critique that you often have with these players is, well, what can you do? Sure, you can do that, but how many different routes can we have you run? For example, this route, it's going to be a deep route in a pure one-on-one matchup right here. And typically, the way I always kind of define the number one receiver is a situation like this. It's a third down. You're running a deep route. It's a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Can you get open? That's definitely something that is a big deal. We'll watch how when this play begins, you're going to see the quarterback fires it in that direction. And is there a ton of separation? Not exactly, but again, it's kind of worth a shot. Let's throw it up and see what happens. And so is McConkey going to be able to win here? Well, the answer here is no. I'm not sure even if he was, a better wide receiver at these types of routes, if he would have been able to make the catch, because it wasn't a perfect throw. But in general, these deep shots, it's just not his thing. It's not why you're drafting him. Maybe you get one or two here and there, but that's not really what you're going to have him do. It really, he is very much the slot receiver or the guy who you have on the outside, but don't just have him run go routes. Or if he is running a go route, it's purely a setup route. Although that being said, going over here, I'm not saying he can't win in those situations. I'm not saying he's like a black hole when it comes to that. This is a deeper route in a one-on-one matchup. You're going to see a quarterback takes the snap, and for Lad McConkey, does a good job at the line, which is worth mentioning. And here, it wasn't just a pure go route he is cutting, but he's given a window, right? So the quarterback definitely can make the play work. And I would also say McConkey does a good job at being able to make that contested catch. So as a whole, I think it's a fair negative. The go routes against man coverage, I do think that is fair to bring up, but I certainly don't think that it's like a massive massive black hole either. And if you need him to on occasion run a route like that, I think he'd be able to, but that's not why you're drafting him. It just isn't. You're drafting him for stuff like this, which again is going to be zone coverage, and you see, okay, just a over the middle route, get into a gap in coverage. I think sometimes people look at this stuff and say, oh, well, it's pretty easy to do this, right? No, it is not. Sometimes it is, but there is certainly a skill to it. Watch as when this play begins. Again, watch the route running and how he's kind of faking as though he's going deeper, going over the middle, you see number 3 for Florida is very much, not expecting him to cut over the middle right here. And if you can get that corner to not figure out what you're doing, that's just going to do so much good for you. Because then watch when he cuts over the middle. I mean, look at that, how open he gets right there. So again, I think a lot of people might look at this stuff and say, sitting down in zone coverage, we can all do that, right? Well, okay, maybe you can. I certainly can't. But even, forgetting about that, there is a reason why sometimes these guys get open. And it's not always coaching or bad defense. Sometimes it's good route running. And also, this play isn't over yet. Watch him be able to do some good work in open space and pick up a ton of yards and actually gets into the end zone on that play that did not seem like it was going for a touchdown when it first started. So, again, really good stuff there by McConkey. Now, I want to be clear, there is certainly an element of his game that is just getting into a gap in coverage. It's a 3rd down and 6 right here, and watch what happens. When this play begins, you see that McConkey does, I think, a pretty good job of kind of shifting as though he's going a little bit higher towards the screen, then doesn't. And you see, for the most part, it is just sitting into the zone coverage. Quarterback is going to make the throw, and McConkey picks up a 1st down, does a good job in open space, and, gets tackled. So even in my, sometimes all he does is this, he's still putting on some highlight-type plays in it. But again, there is value in this. There is value in just understanding zone, knowing where you have to sit down to, get open, knowing how to kind of shift it to make it not exactly clear what you're doing until it's too late for the defense. All that stuff is very good, and it's stuff he can do. So as a whole, again, when I watch film of McConkey, it's super exciting stuff. You just feel like his skill set is going to work to some capacity. What's the ceiling? That's a fair question, and that's why he's not talked about as one of the top guys. But what he can do is so impressive that you have to feel good about him as a prospect. At least that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate that. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button or just click on the channel itself. I will be covering every little detail about this draft. So, if there's anything you're interested in, I'm sure I have a video about it. Make sure you check that out. Also, if you like movies, make sure you check out my movie channel. The link is in the description for that. Have a lot of fun stuff on there, some movie reviews, some tier lists, stuff like that. And also, if you want to just hear more of my general thoughts, follow me on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. Link is in the description for that as well. And once again, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it.